Hi, I'm Nick, and welcome to Inktober day number 27. I can't believe we've got this far, only a few more days to go. For this artwork, we're going to be drawing something that's been requested probably the most on my channel in the past 6 months. Today, we're going to be doing a space-themed artwork. So thank you for the suggestions, it finally came true. For this one, we're going to do like kind of a mountain, moon, and star kind of one. Without any further ado, let's just get into it. Alrighty, so for this artwork, we're gonna be doing the whole thing in live time. Is that what you call it? Live? Real time, that's it. So for this one, we've got the moon here, we got some stars, and then we've got a mountain range, which I think I'm gonna do Stifling on, and some brown here as well. I was gonna do lots of like white dots on it for stars and stuff, but it didn't really work in like a test that I did for it, so I'm gonna instead do it digitally after I finished it. So let's get into it. So the first colors I'm gonna do are I'm gonna start off with a lighter kind of green around the edges of the mountain range here, just to create kind of the illusion that there's an what are they called? Ioras? Oh my god, another thing I can't pronounce. Iora? Iora something? I don't know. I'm horrible at everything. And then we're going to add some random space colors after that. I don't really have a method of doing this. I'm probably going to have to keep on layering it all up for it to look really good. I don't know. We'll figure it out, I'm sure. I don't really have a method. I've never done like a space kind of artwork, so I don't know how they do. And I just realized it's like a race against the time with the watercolors now, because they kind of all dry at random times. They dry really quickly on this artwork. So it will be a race against time, I guess. And at the moment, we're probably losing that race against time a little bit. Yeah, probably. I should probably do the darker colors around the top area and leave the lighter colors for down the bottom. That would probably make sense, and I wish I kind of thought about this before I started recording. I'm horrible at this. This should not be my job. There's some darker colors that I'll add in there. Real time's kind of stressful, so I can't make any mistakes, and I'm kind of afraid that my phone's probably going to kind of ring, and then I'm going to have to start the video again. But then I remember I have no friends, and that's not a problem. That's in blue. I'm using kind of a tiny brush on this so I can keep the details that I want white. But it's probably a horrible idea. It means that everything's going to dry before I can really get to it. But, oh well. I'm sure it'll look cool anyway, even if it doesn't look really spacey. Maybe I can change the colors or something a little bit. Oh, I got some rubber stuff in there. Let's zoom in a little bit more so you can see. Alright, let's continue with the bottom piece here. The Iora. Did I say it right? No, not at all. I think the stippling, when I get to that's going to take a long time, so I'll probably do that sped up and record a voiceover instead of doing it real time, or we'll be here for like ages. Add some purple there. My small brush, that's pretty useless in this situation. It's probably annoying some people, my small brush. Alright, go around those details there. So what, we're looking halfway through. Not doing too badly at the moment. The colors aren't really blending in too well because I used a tiny brush and because they're drying before I can really get to them. And I kind of just stuffed up a star then. Oh, well, I'll just fix that up digitally, probably. The wonders of Photoshop, what you can do with it. So I hope you guys weren't expecting a tutorial, because I kind of don't know what I'm doing at the moment. I'm just kind of smacking down watercolor and seeing what happens. And so far it's going alright, but not perfectly. I can't really blend that in because you can definitely see the way that my strokes are going in the blends. So maybe I have to splash in a lot of color somehow. Yeah, needs more purple over here, I think. Now the dark color, which is here, add in a lot more of that. Now I'm gonna do some highlights around here. The paper's crimping a little bit, so it's kind of like painting on an angle at the moment. Add in some blue. Probably with some filters it'll look better. I'm thinking I'll just do that kind of stuff later. Oh, it looks alright. Kind of, I don't know, this might wreck it, but I'm just gonna kind of add in some more random strokes everywhere. Yep, definitely wrecking it. I'm gonna stop doing that. Oh wait. I just had some deja vu that I've done this before. Wow, that was really strong deja vu actually. Whoa. I've definitely done this before. Jesus. That's like one of the strongest deja vu I've ever had, and I just had it then. If you believe in that kind of stuff. I do. Alright, so I'm gonna let this dry, and then after I've let it dried, I'm gonna do the mountain range down the bottom. I'm gonna do some browns that I have to mix up. And then after I've done that, we're gonna do the stifling and fix up the ink a little bit. So I'll turn the camera on back when this is dry. Okay, so now this is dried, and we can start doing the mountains. Basically this does crimp a little bit because of the watercolor. Usually if you tape it down that doesn't happen, but here at the Import Autumn channel I'm very lazy and I don't bother, and I just kind of bend it back like this until it's in kind of a relatively alright state. It's going to bend again because I'm going to do this now. So I've actually had a change of heart here. Whoop, logging. I'll zoom out the other way. So I'm going to do browns on this, 3 different shades I'm going to blend in. And then for this up the top, instead of doing stippling or stifling, I'm going to paint it a very light shade of bluey white. So it kind of looks like snow that's reflecting the color of the blue sky a little bit. So let's start onto that right now. I'll zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to start with the blue. I'm going to start here. So we'll start right down the bottom here, and we're just going to be careful not to blend it into the sky, those colors, which we should be right for, because they aren't wet anymore. So this is just a really subtle kind of whitey color, just to kind of reflect what's in the background. And when you're at night, everything that's kind of white, it still has kind of a bluey tinge to it, or a dark tinge to it. So I think this kind of color does that a little bit. But then again, I'm only a beginner to watercolors, so who knows? Might be a horrible mistake. All these double lines that I've done here, around it, I'm going to probably ink that black. I don't want to make it just a pure watercolor piece. I want to add some inking to it as well. So that's kind of what I do. It's kind of my style. Even though if it looks a little bit worse because I inked it, I'd still rather do it. Because YOLO. Alright, so this blue's looking pretty good. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with how it looks. And we're going to go on to the second bit up here, the second mountaintop. adding in the double lines kind of gives me a buffer zone as well. So if I blend, I don't accidentally get it into the other color as well. And I can keep what I want white. I should have done that with the stars, then I wouldn't have that problem there. But Photoshop will be my friend in this case. I'm really impressed with this color actually. I think it's awesome. I pretty much just used white, mixed that in, and then I kind of just dipped my paint in blue for like less than a millisecond probably. It's like the record of how little time you can dip in a paintbrush into anything. That's how little I did on it. So if you want to create this kind of color, that's exactly what I did. And if you add too much blue into it, just add in more white until it's ultra faded. I was kind of actually, if I did the stifling, I think that would have been cool as well. If you don't know what stifling is, it's just lots of dots that people do, like they just dot on paper or pen. I only recently learned that when I did it, and I asked what kind of style it was on a skull piece, and you guys told me what it was, so thank you. I sound more educated in my art now. Alright, so that's done. I'm going to leave this to dry for like 2 minutes, and then I'm going to start on the browns here. Just in case I blend them in together. So now that's all dry, we're going to start adding in the brown shades. And I've got some grey in there as well, because when you look at pictures of mountains, the color changes a lot, and you do get grey, rocky kind of tone. So we're gonna add that in, as well as some more dirty kind of looks. Dirty brown, as in dirt, not we have some dirt on these mountains and we're gonna blackmail them. Just dirt in general. I didn't know why I had to explain that then. Add some more grey. And in those bits there, the grey colour looks pretty good actually. I'm surprised. Some more dirty brown colours. There we go. I think one of the most beautiful scenery in the world is just looking at mountains in the distance. A whole bunch of mountains, especially if they've got rocky outcrops on them. Nothing really beats them, and snow on top as well. Mountains with like pine plantations and redwoods and stuff, that looks pretty good too. But definitely Rocky Mountains look great as well. Here in Australia, we have few mountains that really have that kind of look. So one day I definitely want to go to Canada and America even, just to have a look at those kind of landscapes. I think that's the benefit of traveling. You get to see new things. When I go traveling, the first thing that I look at is always what kind of different trees they have, what kind of different plants, and what's like the common plants and trees that they have, I guess. I don't know why I think that, but that's always exactly what I look for. I think it's kind of like from Pokemon days. You kind of, whenever you explore like a new area, you're like, oh, I wonder what kind of Pokemon are common here. And you soon quickly have your answer when you walk into some grass. Well, that's kind of like the version for me, but in real life. Alright, so last mountain here, and it's looking pretty fine, if you don't mind me saying so. If you disagree, leave a comment. I will rebuttal you. Alright. And just in those last final sections here, and then we're going to be finished with this artwork. We're going to switch to I'm going to put some digital techniques in, what I'm going to be doing. But yeah, traditional artworks are fun. You don't really get this kind of same sense of fun from digital paintings, at least in my experience. But I should really get into more digital stuff. Alright, so that's all finished. We're going to let that dry, then we're going to scan it in, and we're going to add in a few adjustments and also add in lots of stars so it looks more like space. I'll show you what it looks like when I'm finished. I just realized that I forgot to do the inking part. That's a necessary part. So let's do that with a Sharpie right now. Whoops, I picked a really bad Sharpie then. That seems to not have much ink in it. Hang on, I'll switch to another one. There we go, and I'll get right up close so you can see what exactly I'm doing. So there's not much into it than inking, and if you want to make your lines even sharper, just use a fine liner afterwards to go over the edges of every line. I won't do that on camera because it takes quite a while to do and it's not very interesting, but it works very well. So I get a lot of compliments saying my line work is sharp. Basically a lot of that happens, and just after I finish an artwork I'll go back and fix it up. So there's my secret if you ever wanted to know. So I'm just trying to keep these a little bit jagged because the mountains lines are a little bit jagged as well, so that makes sense to do it that way. So it doesn't have to be too precise or it will actually look a little bit worse. So Sharpies, the best markers that I've been using are definitely Sharpies. I've used some like versions at the $2 shop that you get, and it's like ridiculous. You get $2 and you buy like 15 different pens, and they are good. They do work, and they last a reasonably long time. The only problems that I've had is with time they kind of fade, and they change color. And with the Sharpies, they seem to last a bit longer, so you don't get like a purpley hue out of Sharpies as quick, at least, as you do with cheaper brands. I'm like the king of cheaper brands, so I wish that would work better, but for temporary artworks probably the cheaper $2 brands work really well. So after I've done this and I've fixed it all up, I'll use a rubber to rub off any of the grey lead lines that are still left on the artwork, and that will make it look even cleaner still and more professional. So that's a good step to never forget to do. Alright, last mountain range here. And I'm burning through it pretty quick. And it's looking pretty good so far. So it just can be pretty rough with it. If I was doing like this artwork for a commission or for an art competition, I'd just use fine liner on this and be a lot more thorough with how it looks. But in this case, I don't have to. I was originally going to leave this all white, and not do an outline on the stars, but it looks like the plans have changed since I stuffed it up. So doing these curves to get them nice is just a matter of practice until you can control your lines a little bit better, which is harder to do with the Sharpie, but you can always go back after you've drawn it and fix it up with a fine liner, which is a key to success. Alright, so now we're done. I'm going to fix this whole artwork up with a fine liner, which I won't do on camera because it's boring, takes a long time. And then I'm going to add it into digital printer and do some adjustments and chuck in some color, some stars everywhere. I'll show you what it looks like when it's finished. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. Space pieces are awesome and it's fun to work with those colors and blend them all together. Thanks for watching again. I said that already, but goodbye for now. But not forever. Space Jam is the best movie ever. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, follow me on Instagram and like me on Facebook, or click to see a random video below. I'll catch you down the road.